Good morning, everyone. Today we're going back a little bit in Connie X videos to actually check out the video of all Sincerity armor digivolving even further beyond. Now, yes, I do understand I did technically skip this before, that's why I'm coming back to it. So let's hop in and see how these plant ninja things can truly digivolve beyond.
Alright, we've done courage and friendship, but which Digi-Eggs are we going to explore full evolution lines for next? So I chose Sincerity because grass, spring, summer? I don't know, at least this series is more consistent than armor fixing.
He is right about that.
What is up, digital companion? Oh, I forgot the light again. What is up, digital companions? My name is KanEX and welcome back to another video. And yes, we are continuing our series exploring what all the Armor Digimon might look like if they got full evolution lines. Armor Digimon typically don't digivolve further, especially as seen in Digimon Adventure 02. But outside of that media, you do occasionally see Armor Digimon get to digivolve conventionally, especially in things like the card game and the VPETs. But I want to choose specifically thematic evolutions for these guys, what it would look like if they digivolved in the Digimon anime. So rather than the more random digivolution that you see in some stuff, for this series I am trying to find something that would work in the anime, something that you might expect to see in the adventure continuity, like I say Agumon to Greymon to Metal Greymon to War Greymon. And I have actually tackled this subject with the 02 kids previously with existing Digimon and custom art, and in the existing Digimon we already did Shurimon. Shurimon of course being the Sincerity Armor Digivolution for Hawkmon. Unfortunately there are no like grass ninja or samurai Digimon that fully fit the bill, so the line I went with are newly revealed Digimon. I say newly, they're a couple of years old now. Ayatamon digivolving from Shurimon I think works very well. And then into Bloom Lordmon, because we must remember that Hawkmon presents generally masculine in the Adventure 02 continuity. So Bloom Lordmon makes a ton of sense, and I think if you look at this line all together, it does make sense. Remaining
it does kind of drop the ninja aspect, but it keeps plant heavily, which makes sense since like over 80% of the egg is, leaf.
Life warriors, if changing their theme a little bit throughout. I think especially Shurimon and Bloom Lordmon have got a good connection, and Ayatamon's just a nice thing in between. The rest of the Sincerity armors, though, are a little bit more difficult, the ones we didn't see in 02. The overall theme of the Digi-Egg of Sincerity is grass and a Japanese aesthetic. I'm still not entirely sure where that Japanese aesthetic came from, with Mimi and Palmon being the originators. Palmon's line isn't overtly Japanese, and Mimi herself, while of course is a Japanese kid, is one of the more American kids out of all of them, but hey, it's a fun theme. So because we are lacking a certain amount of thematic grass Digimon, I am going to focus on that grass and Japanese vibe, but I'm also, where possible, going to make a cohesive evolution line. So we have to drop grass or drop Japanese. That's just something we're going to have to do. However,
drop Japan or drop the grass. We're gonna have to do one of the both.
However, I'm going to try and preserve one or the other where completely possible. And we're going to begin with Yaxamon. This is the Vmon Sincerity Armor Digivolution. It's also been used as a Dracmon Evo before, which I do quite like. And because of that, I am going to be treating all of these Armor Digimon in this video as around champion level, filling in from a rookie and into an ultimate level. People have gotten confused in the past and thought that was me saying that all Armor Digimon are around champion level. That's not quite true. For most of these videos, that will be the case of power level.
They're going to be treated like champions, even if they aren't champions.
Or being equivalent to champion. And that slightly spookier side to Yaxamon is something I do want to focus on. We are unfortunately, I think, going to have to lose the grass elements. However, we can very much lean into a traditional Japanese aesthetic with Yaxamon's evolution line, because we have a newish Digimon from Digimon Ghost game, Oboramon. This floating ghost Oni samurai still has a bluish tinge to its underbody, which lines up to Yaxamon quite well. It also has the same two horns as Yaxamon, which is a great connection. And while it does lack two training swords, you can kind of see how maybe the training shield transformed into this skull arm, and then we've got the samurai sword, a proper sword, not a training sword, poking out. It still has hair in an appropriate place similar to Yaxamon, just obviously grey now instead of red. It's a really good evolution of Yaxamon in my opinion, and one that I'm happy to use. And then from there, well, it's pretty easy. I'm going to have this line end on Zambamon, an undead samurai, perfectly again matching up to the themes of Oboramon, and does naturally, I think, translate from Yaxamon too. Some fun details are that Oboramon,
it's like he trained to death.
has this kind of like red shoulder cape, and Zambamon has a reddish orange cape which matches up, as well as some of the traditional Japanese armor parts which is similar between Oboramon and Zambamon. And you can even say perhaps that the skeletal arm and samurai sword of Oboramon became the mount for Zambamon, its head and little sword peeking out, feeling very similar. The connection to Yaxamon isn't...
He's not wrong. That actually does make a little bit of a connection.
As good. However, the traditional Japanese elements are preserved. You could say perhaps the two horns became the moon, the crescent moon on its helmet, and maybe even that red hair is some of the reason why Aboramon and Zambamon have a red cape. Next up is Frogmon, and I actually really love this guy the more I look at it. Don't know if I love it as a Armadillomon armor, but it's still pretty great. It's a little grass frog ninja with leaf shurikens. I think it works very nicely. There's not a ton of Digimon, unfortunately, that fit the bill for an evolution for this. There's a lot of Digimon that could Digivolve into it, but from there we're kind of stuck. However, I think a natural evolution would be Shogun Gakkomon. I hadn't really considered this to be related to the Crest of Sincerity before. However, Shogun Gakkomon does have these leaf frills around his neck. And of course, Shogun Gakkomon.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all he has in the tome of Plant.
And specifically Gakkomon have a pretty good connection to Mimi in the original adventure. And Digivolving from Frogmon, well, him being a shogun kind of fits the traditional Japanese aesthetic. Tonosama Gakkomon being his Japanese name, and Tonosama being a feudal lord. And you could even say maybe it got lazy through Digivolution, and that the two leaf propellers turned into those big trumpets. And something I do think is nice is that Frogmon has a yellow at the front coloration and a red at the back, and Shogun Gakkomon has a yellow belly and a red body, so even that feels kind of connected. I think Shogun Gakkomon is one of those Digimon.
Okay, I'm starting to see some of the connections he's talking about, but I still feel like this is a major stretch.
Like Monzaemon that deserves its Mega Evolution to exist, as well as X-Tyrannomon, that needs one too. Monzaemon finally got Shin Monzaemon in recent times, and I think that works fantastically. I would love it wouldn't be called this, but a Shin Shogun Gakkomon, or a Shin X-Tyrannomon. And because we are really lacking a decent frog or gecko Mega in that respect, the two choices to me come down to either Eldoradimon, which reserves some of the coloration of Shogun Gakkomon, and for our Sincerity tie-in, obviously has a lot of trees on its back, so that could work. Or, yes, of course, Ebonwumon, but Ebonwumon is a sovereign. I don't see this being the evolution here. Definitely could be, though. I'm not against it fully. Eldoradimon, Ebonwumon, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, or if you've got a better pick that I haven't thought of. Then is a really tricky one. Patamon becomes Ponchomon. This is also a Death Digivolution.
Hey, hold on. I thought you said that Sincerity normally has a Japanese theme to it. I don't think Ponchomon got that memo. Yes, I know he made that joke earlier in the video, I just haven't had a chance to, do the joke myself.
The Togemon, but Ponchomon has this kind of like Patamon fur as a poncho around it, and this is such a difficult, tricky Digimon to find an evolution line for. My first thought was to go a little bit weird with it and choose Phantomon. Namely because, well, they're both kind of like ghostly Digimon. Phantomon also being cloaked and having no feet, I think there is something that works there. While obviously a Bakemon evolution, Phantomon is also being used as a Devimon evolution fairly commonly, and I could see if Patamon has armor Digivolved into a ghost, it being a more ghostly form would make sense, and because of Angemon's rivalry with Devimon, something in that Nightmare Soldier's wheelhouse would make sense. However, a different one that I'm a little bit more invested in is Pumpkinmon. Now again, Pumpkinmon does not have any traditional Japanese theming to it, but it is something more of a
it literally only has a pumpkin head.
Spooky Digimon, kind of tying into that ghostly vibe of Ponchomon, and this is very Giga-brained. What if that poncho, that orange Patamon poncho of Ponchomon, rode up and enveloped the head, becoming the pumpkin? And indeed, even the green parts of Ponchomon could have risen up, instead of being the part of the body, are now that green cape, revealing this kind of like puppet body underneath this sewn together body. I don't know, I think it kind of works, it's kind of fun, and that does set up very nicely for us to have Noble Pumpkinmon as the Mega, preserving all the things that we like about Ponchomon and Pumpkinmon being connected, but also connecting back to Patamon. Noble Pumpkinmon has wings. While he's not an angel, those are more like fallen angel wings, I still think there's a nice connection to the fact that Patamon is our origin rookie of this evolution line, still getting the angel wings that he was promised if he hadn't have become a Ponchomon. And with Noble Pumpkinmon having a very Jack Skellington vibe, that connection to Ponchomon I think also works. Ghostly, undead feel, with some orange and green still connecting to Patamon and Sincerity. I would also like to use Bancho Lilymon here just because she has a Togemon yo-yo, and obviously Ponchomon is kind of like a Togemon variant or Death Digivolution, but I just don't think it fits for Patamon really. No Hey Mon is really interesting. It is Wormmon Sincerity Armor Digivolution, and I can kind of see how this works, right? It's a Scarecrow, it's also an Archer, and that's a traditional Japanese warrior class, though interestingly, actually the Crow is the Digimon, and the Scarecrow is the body. This made me think about Digivolving specifically the Crow and keeping some Sincerity green and grass elements, which is when I sat settled on perhaps digivolving Wormon's Nohemon to Vulturemon. Vulturemon is again another new...
Okay, now seriously, that is a major stretch. You go from a little crow to a straight up vulture clad in military gear. Like, the only connection I see here is literally that green shoulder pad and of a spike thing. Like, you went from grass and Japanese to assassin bod.
revealed
Sniper bod, I meant.
With that spiky green shoulder pad, I'm getting crazy Togemon vibes from it, which would be a great connection to the Crest of Sincerity. Also, you know, the Scarecrow, the crow, would become a vulture, admittedly a different bird, but still a good match. And I can even see how the brown parts of the outfit that Vulturemon is wearing could also have come from the outfit the Scarecrow is wearing in Nohemon. And if an archer wanted to up his game and be more effective, yeah, a translation into a sniper makes a lot of sense to me. Obviously, if you want to focus on the crow element, you could also go to Yatagaramon, but I think either way it would be nice to...
No, Yatagaramon, that is the one that needs to go to, because that goes heavily with the Japanese vibes. And yeah, it's a bod, but it's got a lot more Japanese vibes than a freaking sniper bod. On the Yatagaramon, all the way.
And on Ravemon, because Ravemon is a
Corvid
and a ninja. Crows and ravens are both Corvids. It's kind of a great fit, whether you put Vulturemon or Yatagaramon in between, Wormmon and Nohemon leading into Ravemon. That brings us to our final Sincerity Armor Digivolution, Kabukimon, traditionally being a Sincerity Armor Digivolution of Gatomon or Salamon. We're going to kind of go with a more 0-2 feel, so we're picking Gatomon, a depowered tail ring Gatomon, but if you want Salamon, that's fine too. And Kabukimon, again, we can't really like lean in super heavily to the Japanese aesthetic because we've already used basically all the Digimon that might apply. However, I've always liked Blossomon as a Kabukimon Evo. First of all, because it's a very common plant Digivolution, an alternate for Digimon connected to the Crest of Sincerity, whether it Digivolves like from...
One other thing that actually does have going for it is that Kabukimon has, you know, that plant mask over its face, but then it's also got those plant glove things as well. So it makes sense for it to go from pretending to be a multi-headed plant to actually being a multi-headed plant. That one's actually good.
Togemon or into Rosemon. This has been seen many times. And I like the connection that Kabukimon has these flower faces for hands, and so does Blossomon. It's not a perfect connection, but I think it's one that works. And Blossomon having these spiked vines again feels like a nice connection back to Togemon and the Crest of Sincerity. The Mega though, well of course we could go with Rosemon, but that's already Mimi's Mega, I don't want to repeat that. What came to me was Babamon. She's cloaked in green, first of all, which is a great connection.
Why Babamon, other than the fact she's covered in green?
Into the Crest of Sincerity. Her name, Baba, comes from the Japanese for old woman, a more traditionally Japanese name. And she has this necklace that always to me resembled the Crest of Light. But yes, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that this is the same necklace that Rosemon has. And that is no coincidence, because according to Babamon's reference book listing, it is rumored that a Rosemon was cursed and transformed into this form. So again, this isn't necessarily the Crest of...
The lore! Yes! Okay, now I approve the use of Babamon.
Light, but it's a very similar symbol, and it's pink, just like the color most commonly associated with the Crest and Digi-Egg of Light. Plus, Babamon is basically confirmed to have been a Rosemon, which to me, all of that together is a perfect marriage between the Kari, the Gatomon side, and the Mimi, the Crest of Sincerity side, to create a Mega for Kabukimon Gatomon Sincerity Armor Digivolution. And if you don't like that because you don't like Babamon for some reason, Ceresmon Medium also has hands encased in flowers. Alright, that is it. My picks for evolution lines for the Sincerity Armor Digimon. Hawkmon to Shurimon to Ayatamon to Bloomlordmon, Vmon to Yaxamon to Aboramon to Zambamon, Armadillomon to Frogmon to Shogun Geckomon to Ebonwumon.
I'm still heavily debating this one, and personally, I don't see it. Like, it goes from Armadillo to Frog to Turtle. No, it can't be that last guy.
Or Eldoradimon, Patomon to Ponchomon to Pumpkinmon.
This one is a stretch as well, but it actually does work out in the end.
And Noble Pumpkinmon, Wormmon to Nohemon to Vulturemon and Ravemon, and Gatomon to Kabukimon to Blossomon to Babamon. Let me know your picks in the comments down below, and please make sure you like and subscribe, I really would appreciate it. Shout out to my sovereign level patrons EDK14, as well as everyone else who supports me over on patreon.com/CarnEX, and my supporters here on YouTube as well. Channel memberships are holding it down. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with Digital.
Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I want you all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original being in the description below, and I'll see all of y'all next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.